Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Pasha Shmos. The whole world is shifting and changing. Not just talking about current events, but in the Parashos, our insights change. We go from talking about Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, about individuals, now to talk about Klal Yisrael, about Bnei Yisrael, about the Jewish people. Now the center focus, and this is going to be our center focus until the end of the year, is now Moshe and the Bnei Yisrael, Moshe and the Jewish people. And that takes us all the way through until next Rosh Hashanah. And it's just amazing the transition that we've gone through. Again, not just in life and not just in reality, but the transition that we go through inside in our learning and in our whole experience through the Parshios and our living through the Parshios is really incredible. We find that Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Paro, speaks to Paro, the famous "Let my people go." And Paro responds by bearing down on the workload of the people. And what he does, he takes away the bricks. Now they have to make bricks and they have to keep the same quota. So the commentaries ask the question that, why did Paro do it that way? Why did he just keep the bricks and just up the quota? Because this way they would have been working double as hard, but producing double as much. And if they were producing double as much, it would have been good for the Egyptian people. They still would have harmed the Jews, but at least the Egyptians could have benefited from it. So why didn't they just up the quotas? So the truth is that because we understand that the entire plan of Paro, his entire objective, was a thing called Avodas Parach. Avodas Parach we translate in English as back crushing labor, but it wasn't just back crushing labor. It was the Avayda of Parech. It was the work of shattering and of breaking. Like Rashi says, that it's hard work that crushes the body and breaks it. It's the Avayda of Parech. That the whole purpose, his whole system, his whole vision was not only to get something out of the Jews, was much more to break the back and break the spirit of the Jewish people. That's why he built Arei Miskanos, pitiful cities. Cities where, in the end of the day, it was futile to build them because they would build them up. They were either on an earthquake belt and they would fall down, or it was on a swampland, and it would fall down. Either way, what we were doing was useless. They made us feel pitiful. These cities, they made us feel like our lives were wasted, like we were doing nothing. And when you feel like you're doing nothing, so then that completely destroys a person. We say, how stupid are those Babylonians? They eat bread with bread. They're just eating to eat. There's no pleasure, there's no joy, there's nothing delicious on the bread, there's nothing special. Because it just becomes futile. What am I doing? I'm running around a treadmill, I'm doing nothing, I'm accomplishing nothing. And when you're living that kind of way, where you feel that the things you're doing are futile, the things you're doing are not getting you anywhere, they're not advancing your life, they're not advancing you as a person. So then you feel crushed and broken. The entire Jewish people were feeling this way. Paro was succeeding. Even Moshe Rabbeinu got caught up in this, and he turns to God and he says to God at the end of the parasha, he says, Me'oz basi el Paro, from that moment that I came to Paro, things have only gone to pot, things have only gone bad, they've gone downward spiral. I've only caused the Jewish people now to become even more broken, to feel more useless. The Medrash says that how did Moshe Rabbeinu do tshuva for that? For sort of going against God and saying to him that everything you're doing is just making us feel like nothing, like life is worth nothing, like we're getting nowhere. Me'oz basi. So Moshe Rabbeinu's tshuva was oz yosher. When he saw the splitting of the sea, he had an incredible epiphany, and he recognized and understood that every single step, every single thing that was happening, however difficult it might be, and however painful it might be, but was not useless, it wasn't futile, it wasn't for naught, but it was actually for something incredible, for something so meaningful and something so important. That's the difference between Avayda and Malacha. Avayda is when you feel like you're just working, you're just breaking your back and you're just working. Malacha was when you feel like you're producing something. You're doing something valuable. Paro was trying to destroy us by making us feel futile and useless. And when we recognized that it's not futile and it's not useless, it's part of a much larger picture. When we were able to see that larger picture, Oz Yosher, then we were able to sing. Life is like that sometimes. You look around in our personal lives and there are things that are happening, we just feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm not getting any enjoyment. I'm not getting any sense of accomplishment. Not from my family, not from my friends, not from my work, not from the things around me. It's hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. What am I doing? Where am I going? What am I accomplishing? What am I meaning? What am I leaving in this world? But that's only because we're getting stuck right now in the moment. And we're forgetting that there's a big picture. We're forgetting that all of this is just steps along the way. And though it looks like we're being crushed, we're actually climbing. We're climbing step by step by step by step. That incredible end. It's like that as a Jewish people. We're engaged in a war, and the war is schlepping. It's 3 months. Day after day after day after day after day. Start to feel a little bit futile. It's not futile at all. As difficult as these times are, and as difficult as the moments are, and as difficult as are the things that we're going through, it's not crushing, but it's actually lifting us up. The Vodas Parech, that very same crushing labor, if you look at it one way, it's crushing, it's bringing us down. But if you look at it another way, it's Parach, it's with a soft mouth. It's really part of a process, of a step-by-step process, not of going downward, but a step-by-step process going up. It's not an Avayda. It's Malacha. It's not a Me'az Basi. It's bringing us to an Az Yosher. Imagine if we could see our lives that way. If we could see that moment of difficulty as not a moment of crushing, but actually a moment of lifting, and a moment of bringing us to a higher place and to a better place, step by step by step. If we could see our lives that way, then every me'az basi, every moment of frustration, will lead us to the moment of greatest glory, that moment of Az Yosher. You should have a beautiful, amazing, and incredible Shabbos.